The take from the top U.S. negotiator in Copenhagen, why he says the climate talks look doomed until the final 2 days. Also, a coal mining company tests its natural gas reserves, tapping into Pennsylvania's Marcellus Shale. And another blow for Toyota. It issues a worldwide recall of the world's most popular hybrid.
From the Energy News Center in Washington, D.C., this is the Energy Report with Susan McGinnis.
Good Tuesday afternoon. I'm Tyler Suiters in for Susan McGinnis. Thanks for joining us for this edition of the Energy Report. Today, the top U.S. climate envoy is sharing just how close Copenhagen came to collapsing altogether. Todd Stearns says only 2 days before those UN climate talks were scheduled to end, the conference truly appeared doomed. In his words, rabble-rousers had sidetracked the negotiating process and progress was blocked daily. Speaking today at the Center for American Progress, Stearns said the final 2 days were nothing short of extraordinary, and the Copenhagen Accord was achieved in large part because on the final day, world leaders, including President Obama, refused to accept failure.
It is, I would say, more sketch than painting, but it shows the way forward in a number of important ways and did this at a moment when failure seemed imminent. First, it quantifies the ultimate objective of the Framework Convention to avoid dangerous climate change by saying that the increase in global average temperature should be held to 2 degrees centigrade. Second, it provides for both developed and major developing countries to list the specific actions or targets that they will take to cut or limit their emissions. Third, it makes very important progress on transparency by saying that the implementation of developing country actions will be subject to international review, something that already occurs for developed countries. Fourth, the accord includes landmark financing provisions, the prompt start financing for prompt start financing approaching $30 billion over the 3-year period from 2010 to 2012, for a goal that I already alluded to of mobilizing $100 billion a year by 2020.
Despite the global recession, the renewable energy sector has something to celebrate today. The EIA says generation from renewable resources jumped 9% last year to more than 368 billion kilowatt hours. And the EIA expects that total to rise by 15% in 2010. But today, Renewable Energy Industry Association leaders say that expansion could be in jeopardy. They say losing some of the key tax credits that help fuel the renewables boom could keep private investment on the sidelines. And renewables leaders also want a clean energy bank, an entity to step in when private sector finances are faltering.
We need a long-term source of financing for renewable energy projects. The bottom line is the big banks aren't coming in and investing in the way they did just 2 years ago, and we're having to become more and more reliant upon alternative sources of funding, which is fine, and it's good to diversify, but ultimately what we need is a clean energy bank, a bank that provides low-interest financing and risk mitigation for renewable energy project development in the same way that Germany, Japan, and China provide that kind of funding. We need it here in the United States.
The renewable industry also today reiterated its call for an RES, a renewable energy standard of 25% or better. It says that would boost jobs here in the U.S. Clean Skies' Dan Goldstein has more on the renewables agenda for 2010, and you can find his report here on our website, cleanskies.com. Coal producer Alpha Natural Resources is now getting into the natural gas business. The Virginia company announced today it has drilled its first well in the Marcellus Shale. It teamed up with driller Rice Energy to invest in 4 wells this year at a cost of $20 million. Alpha says it could end up drilling as many as 100 wells overall in Marcellus. That investment reflects growing interest by a variety of energy companies in onshore natural gas. As you know, ExxonMobil recently bid $30 billion on big natural gas producer XTO Energy. And Alpha's competitor, Consol Energy, has increasingly focused on natural gas production in the face of stricter environmental regulation of Appalachian coal mines. The key to the U.S. coal industry's future in a carbon-constrained economy is carbon capture and storage. And domestic CCS research received a major endorsement with last week's presidential memorandum outlining a comprehensive federal strategy on that. Here is one of the country's highest profile CCS projects, the joint program at AEP's Mountaineer plant in West Virginia. Clean Skies News was on site there at Mountaineer last fall, and today I talked with Bob Hilton, of Alstom Power. That's the French energy giant that developed the chilled ammonia capture process for the Mountaineer project. And Hilton says President Obama's call for commercial-scale CCS by 2016 is validation of the long-held prediction from Alstom Power President Philippe Joubert. His contention that technology for CCS would be ready by the year 2015.
I think it absolutely does. Mr. Joubert has been adamant since we started our program in the early 2000s and really made it concrete in about 2004. That 2015 is the date we had to be ready to be commercial for deployment if we were going to make the real objectives that we all have for 2020. And now with the President's moving to sort of, I'll say, consolidate this around 17% reduction, it becomes absolutely critical that we deploy in that time frame. So I think absolutely Mr. Joubert is more than validated.
Hilton and I also talked at length about President Obama's federal strategy on CCS and what that will mean for U.S. research. You can catch our entire interview here on our website. Now, in that memorandum on CCS, President Obama uses the phrase developing clean coal technologies, something that does not sit well with coal industry opponents. Today, I discussed the president's announcement with Jeff Biggers, an author and cultural historian who is quite outspoken about big coal, and he takes serious issue with the president's choice of words.
Clean coal is the greatest sham, in my personal opinion, that we've embarked on. To me, it's the new bridge to nowhere for the great Midwest. It's really a jobs program, and we know it. There's not one scientist who can come onto your program and look you straight in the face and tell you that we actually know that we have the technology to do this within the next 10 years, that's going to be economically feasible, that we actually know how to deal with any potential accidents and storage issues, that we actually have the wherewithal mechanisms to store the carbon and capture.
Jeff Biggers also has a new book out exploring the effects of the coal mining industry on the people and culture of Illinois. You can see my interview with the author about his new work. That's here on cleanskies.com. Yucca Mountain may be dead as a nuclear storage site, but some advocates for the industry are trying to win new life for this site in Nevada as a reprocessing center. 3 Republicans are hoping to challenge Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid in November, and they have said they support studies on reprocessing. 2 Republican candidates for governor are also supporting the idea. They tell the Las Vegas Review-Journal that such a plan could bring new jobs to the struggling area, but Senator Reid remains opposed to putting any kind of nuclear waste at Yucca Mountain. A spokesperson for Governor Jim Gibbons says it's still premature for the governor to take any stand on this issue. The world's top-selling hybrid car is now under a massive recall. Toyota is recalling its famous Prius, the company's first worldwide recall ever. The problem involves the car's regenerative brakes. That system captures energy from braking and then recharges the hybrid's battery. Toyota's president, Akio Toyoda, made that announcement earlier today in Tokyo.
We will do everything in our power to regain the confidence of our customers.
Clean Skies' Lee Patrick Sullivan has a closer look at how this Toyota recall is affecting domestic automakers. His report is here at cleanskies.com. And that is this Tuesday afternoon edition of the Energy Report. We do want to let you know that federal government operations, including those of Congress, severely limited the rest of the week. Nonetheless, we'll have an eye out for anything that does happen here on our website. You can reach our team here in Washington anytime at cleanskies.com and through contact@cleanskies.com. And you can follow us as well on Twitter and Facebook. I'm Tyler Suiters. We're glad you're with us. You're watching Clean Skies News.